condemned this king. That's the point. That basically the king did something that he condemns people to death for, and the person that he brought back to life to talk to, which is a crime that he put people to death for, sentenced him to death for it. That's the point. Their narratives, the cause and effect was a much tighter loop than ours, guys. He did this, he dies as a result. That's how that story is that simple. When the intelligent Christians started thinking like philosophers, they also started to get very superstitious about their beliefs, because they were starting to think like philosophers, but they still thought like Celts. And what did the Catholics tell you the Celts thought like? Over. They were superstitious. They were overthinking it. Yeah, and then he's talking about how before that moment in the 15th century, the first part of the first quarter of the 1400s, the ghost was often depicted the way we would depict a mummy, like in The Mummy's Curse, or a zombie, a corpse. And that only makes sense. Because they would be reaching to the images that they have in their folklore, and their folklore is of corpses that talk. This is why the Peruvian South Americans mummified their dead, is because they were oracle shrines. That's why they mummified them in the position they did with their heads upright, because they thought they talked. And so you wanted them postured upright so you could give them the proper obeisance and you could look them in the eye. I find this section where he's describing this to us kind of tedious and boring, because it's not really the way the painters depicted things doesn't. Before the Renaissance, they weren't that creative. They were trying to communicate to an extremely lowbrow community who still had Celtic stories. So the only way they would have been able to conceive, and how, with the techniques they had, how would you even have depicted something as transparent back then? He's asking for too much from the 700s. He just is. He's relating this to us because it's information he has. But expecting it to be different than what he's describing is asking way too much. And it's not. The images that you saw in church didn't inform your worldview the way moving pictures do for us today. First of all, there were significantly fewer people saw very many at all. It wasn't your visual icons that really informed your worldview and your visions. It was the terrible thing inside your mind, your imagination. I think that's why I talk about our ancestors being perhaps more imaginative than we are. That was fun. I enjoy doing that a whole lot. I wish I could get an audience. And I wish that, as I said, things that were interesting or relevant or exciting or interesting or entertaining or funny or just whatever, that I could get, like, quarters tossed in my cup. I gotta get to 500 followers if I want super likes.